All right, so get ready because we are like diving deep into the year of the snake. And we got a ton of cool stuff to unpack this time, like everything from, the cultural side of things,
Mm,
zodiac
yeah.
predictions, personal stories about what people think this year might bring.
Mhm.
So think of us like your guides through this whole year of the snake thing.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we're not just talking about like any snake year. This is specifically the year of the wood snake, which is kind of a big deal because that only comes around every 60 years.
Wow. Okay, so that means the last time we saw this kind of energy was back in 1965. So what exactly is the wood snake, and how does that all connect back to this whole Lunar New Year celebration?
Right. So the Lunar New Year is tied to the lunar calendar, obviously, which is different from the one most of us use every day. And it's this massive celebration in so many different Asian cultures, basically marking new beginnings. And this year it falls on January 29th.
So a fresh start synced up with the moon cycles. Okay,
Okay.
that makes sense. But let's get back to that wood snake. What is that all about?
Well, so within the Lunar New Year, you've got the Chinese Zodiac,
Well,
which is that 12-year cycle, where each year is associated with a different animal. You've got your rat, your ox, tiger, rabbit, and so on.
of course, I always love the dragon. Big
Mhm.
fan of the fire energy. But this year, it's the snake's time to take center stage.
Exactly.
Oh.
And this time around, the element that's paired with the snake is wood, which is all about growth and renewal,
Yeah.
and just a very steady upward kind of energy.
Okay, so wood snake sounds like a year for like
Mm.
building, expanding, that kind of thing. But tell me more about the snake personality itself. Our sources mention that they're known for being wise and intuitive.
Yeah, definitely. They just have this amazing ability to navigate challenges with grace and insight. I mean, think about how a snake moves. It's fluid, adaptable, always aware of its surroundings.
So it's less about forcing things and more about being strategic,
Hmm.
being observant,
Wow.
waiting for the right moment.
Exactly. Like, think about if you had to make a really strategic decision this year, like finally asking for that raise you deserve. That careful, thoughtful approach is very snake-like.
Okay, I love that. So not rushing in, but thinking things through, making calculated moves. What else makes the snake sign unique?
Well, they're also known for being pretty calm and mysterious. They don't always show their cards right away, which can make them very intriguing.
Definitely captivating. Now, what about ambition? Are snakes ambitious?
Definitely. They might not be loud about it, but snakes are ambitious and determined. Once they set a goal, they go after it with focus and perseverance.
So maybe this is the year to finally launch that business you've been dreaming of.
Yeah, it really could be. This steady, focused energy of the wood snake is perfect for laying the groundwork for long-term success.
I'm loving this. It's already making me rethink how I approach the year ahead. Instead of just going with the flow, it's about being more intentional, more snake-like in my approach.
Exactly. And you mentioned earlier how this is a really significant year for people born in the year of the snake. Our sources actually call this a Grand Duke year for them.
Okay, Grand Duke year. That's a new one. What does that even mean?
It means it's a year of potential pivotal life changes, often pretty significant ones. Things like major career shifts, big changes in relationships, maybe even spiritual awakenings.
Wow, so a year of big transformations. That's pretty intense, but also kind of exciting.
Definitely. Remember, this year is all about growth, both internally and externally. And for people born in the year of the snake, that energy is amplified, creating the potential for some really profound shifts.
Okay, this is all fascinating. But what about those of us who aren't snakes? How does this wood snake energy affect us?
Well, regardless of your zodiac sign, the year of the wood snake encourages us to embrace those snake-like qualities, like strategy and emotional balance and careful consideration.
So if last year felt kind of chaotic and unpredictable, maybe this year's a chance to slow down, be more intentional, really think things through before we jump into action.
Exactly. And that applies to everything from your career and your finances to your relationships and personal goals. This is a year for planting seeds,
Mhm.
nurturing growth, and watching those efforts blossom.
Okay, I'm starting to see a clearer picture here. This isn't just about snakes, it's about tapping into those snake-like strengths no matter what your sign is.
Exactly. But let's not forget the fun part. The Lunar New Year is a huge celebration with a rich tapestry of traditions.
Yeah, I was just reading about that. Fireworks, lion dances, red envelopes. It all sounds so vibrant and exciting. I would love to hear more about that.
Well, imagine streets adorned with these bright red lanterns, and the air is crackling with energy. Firecrackers popping, drums beating as lion dancers weave through the crowds. It's a sensory feast.
That sounds incredible. Visually stunning and full of life. Our source material even mentioned the symbolism behind some of these traditions. Like those fireworks and lion dances aren't just for show.
Right. They're meant to ward off bad luck and any negativity from the past year. It's all about clearing the way for new beginnings.
Ah, so starting the year off with a symbolic bang. And I was also reading about those red envelopes filled with money.
Ah, yes. Those are classic. They're called hungbo, and they symbolize prosperity and good fortune. It's customary for elders to give them to younger family members.
So a little bit of luck and a little bit of cash. Never a bad combination. But what about the food? I was fascinated by all the different dishes mentioned in one of our sources, like dumplings, fish, rice cakes.
Oh, yeah. Those family feasts are a central part of the Lunar New Year celebration. And you're right, the dishes are loaded with symbolism. Dumplings, for instance, represent wealth because their shape resembles ancient Chinese silver ingots.
Oh, that's cool. So it's like eating little pockets of prosperity.
Exactly. And then fish is often served whole, symbolizing abundance and surplus for the year ahead. And then you've got those sticky rice cakes called niangao, which represent progress and growth, moving upwards in life.
I love how every element of this celebration is infused with meaning. It's so much more than just a party.
It really is. It's this beautiful blend of tradition, symbolism, and family togetherness. And the energy doesn't stop there. We can't forget about the Lantern Festival. That caps off the whole 15-day celebration.
Oh, right. I read about that. That breathtaking spectacle with lanterns illuminating the night sky. Is there more symbolism there, too?
Absolutely. Each lantern is like a vessel, carrying wishes and hopes for the new year. It's this collective moment of sending intentions out into the universe.
That's such a beautiful image. Okay, so we've got this rich tapestry of cultural traditions. We've got the unique energy of the wood snake. But how do we translate all of this into practical advice for navigating the year ahead?
Well, one of our sources, Lisa Stardust in Vogue, offers some great tips. She emphasizes that empathy and understanding are key this year, especially with the snake's focus on relationships.
So leading with kindness and compassion, even in challenging situations.
Exactly. This year, it's especially important to consider other people's perspectives, to communicate clearly, and to build bridges instead of burning them.
Makes sense, especially when you think about how the snake navigates its environment, carefully, thoughtfully, with a keen awareness of its surroundings.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. It's about channeling that snake wisdom in your interactions, being diplomatic, and fostering harmony.
Okay, empathy is key. What else does Lisa Stardust suggest?
She also emphasizes the importance of focusing on long-term financial goals and establishing reliable income streams.
Ah, yes. Practicality and security. Very snake-like qualities.
Exactly. This isn't the year for impulsive spending or risky ventures. It's about building a solid foundation, setting clear financial goals, and making strategic decisions that will benefit you in the long run.
So maybe this is the year to finally create that budget, pay down some debt, or start investing wisely.
Exactly. Small steps can lead to significant gains over time, especially with the wood snake's emphasis on steady growth.
Okay, so empathy and financial stability. Got it. But I'm also intrigued by the wood snake's yin energy, that introspective, receptive quality we talked about earlier. How does that play into things?
Well, that's where self-care comes in. This year is also about nurturing your inner world, carving out time for reflection, and connecting with your intuition.
So maybe this is the year to finally start that meditation practice, or delve into journaling, or just spend more time in nature listening to that inner voice.
Exactly. Embrace those activities that replenish your energy and bring you a sense of peace.
This is reminding me of the snake shedding its skin. It's like we're being encouraged to shed old patterns
Yeah.
and embrace a renewed sense of self.
I love that analogy. It perfectly captures the transformative energy of this year. It's about letting go of what no longer serves us and making space for growth and positive change.
Now, you mentioned earlier that this is a really significant year for people born in the year of the snake, a Grand Duke year filled with potential pivotal life changes. I'm curious to hear more about how that might actually play out. What specific transformations could we see?
Well, think back to what we discussed earlier about the snake's strengths and this year's overall energy.
Okay, so we've got strategy ambition, a focus on relationships,
Yeah.
and that push toward inner growth.
Right. So for people born in the year of the snake, these themes might manifest in a more pronounced way.
So I'm imagining major career shifts, like finally launching that dream business, or landing a leadership role.
Yeah, definitely a possibility. Or maybe significant changes in relationships, finding a soulmate, deepening existing bonds, or even gracefully letting go of connections that no longer serve their highest good.
It's like this Grand Duke energy is amplifying everything. So big changes, but also big opportunities.
Absolutely. It's all about aligning with your true path and embracing the transformative power of the wood snake.
I'm sensing a theme here. This year is less about external chaos and more about internal shifts and intentional growth, no matter what your zodiac sign is.
You've got it. It's about taking those snake-like qualities, strategy, intuition, adaptability, and using them to navigate the year ahead.
Okay, so we've covered the cultural backdrop, the practical advice, the transformative potential. Is there anything else we need to know about navigating the year of the wood snake?
Well, there's one other interesting point that came up in our research.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turns out that this year might feel a little different for people born in the year before the snake, the year of the dragon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So those like fiery dynamic dragons might find themselves in unfamiliar territory this year.
That's the idea. Remember how we talked about the contrasting energies of the yang wood dragon of 2024
Right.
and the yin wood snake of 2025?
Right. Yang being more outward and assertive, while yin is more about introspection and going inward.
Exactly. Well, that difference can actually create some friction for dragons. Their natural instinct is to charge ahead, take action, be in the spotlight. But the snake's energy encourages a much more measured, strategic approach.
So it's like their internal rhythms are a bit out of sync with the year's overall vibe.
Exactly. Dragons might find themselves feeling a little restless, impatient, maybe even a bit frustrated by the snake's slower, more deliberate pace.
So what's the advice for dragons navigating the year of the wood snake? Should they just try to suppress their natural instincts?
Not at all. It's not about suppressing those dragon-like qualities. It's more about finding ways to channel them effectively within the context of the year.
Okay, so how can they do that?
Well, the key is to embrace this opportunity for introspection and refinement. This is a time for dragons to pause, reflect, and really hone their strategies. Instead of rushing into action, they can use this year to gather information, build their resources, and prepare for a more impactful launch later on.
So it's like using the snake's energy to their advantage, becoming more strategic, more discerning, even more patient.
Exactly. It's about working with the year's energy instead of against it. Remember, even dragons benefit from a little strategic planning and thoughtful reflection.
This is a great reminder that every year brings its own unique opportunities and challenges, no matter what your sign is.
Absolutely. And the beauty of the Chinese zodiac is that it gives us this framework for understanding these cycles and using them to our advantage.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the year of the wood snake, what are the key takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
Well, first and foremost, embrace those snake-like qualities. Strategy, intuition, adaptability. No matter what your zodiac sign is, this is a year for making calculated moves, nurturing meaningful relationships, and prioritizing those long-term goals over quick fixes.
And don't forget about that yin energy. This is also a year for going inward, connecting with your intuition, and prioritizing self-care.
Exactly. And for all those dragons out there, remember to find ways to channel your fiery energy effectively this year. Use this time for introspection, planning, and refinement. Your moment to shine will come. But for now, embrace the power of strategic patience.
I love that. So as we step into the year of the wood snake, let's all channel our inner serpent, shedding those old patterns, and embracing the transformative energy of this new cycle.
Cheers to that. Here's to a year of growth, abundance, and intentional change. Happy Lunar New Year, everyone. Oh, it has to do with lucky colors.
Oh, lucky colors.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
So one of our sources mentioned that gold, green, and red are especially auspicious this year.
Interesting. I'm already picturing all the ways I can incorporate those colors into my life. Maybe a new green outfit for the Lunar New Year celebrations, or some gold accents in my home decor. And red is always a classic for good luck.
Absolutely. And it's not just about aesthetics. These colors actually have symbolic meanings in Chinese culture. Gold represents wealth and prosperity. Green symbolizes growth and harmony. And red, of course, is associated with good fortune and joy.
Wow, I love how those meanings tie back into the overall energy of the wood snake year.
Exactly. It's all connected.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the year of the wood snake, what are the key takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
Well, first and foremost, embrace those snake-like qualities. Strategy, intuition, adaptability, no matter what your zodiac sign is. This is a year for making calculated moves, nurturing meaningful relationships, and prioritizing those long-term goals over quick fixes.
And don't forget about that yin energy. This is also a year for going inward, connecting with your intuition, and prioritizing self-care.
Exactly. And for all those dragons out there, remember to find ways to channel your fiery energy effectively this year. Use this time for introspection, planning, and refinement. Your moment to shine will come. But for now, embrace the power of strategic patience.
I love that. So as we step into the year of the wood snake, let's all channel our inner serpent, shedding those old patterns, and embracing the transformative energy of this new cycle.
Cheers to that. Here's to a year of growth, abundance, and intentional change. Happy Lunar New Year, everyone!